regret this decision. Can we get a haul as tall as big? Here we go. I did it. Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we are doing a haul. This is April and May haul, I'm fairly certain, and I think this is everything on it. I think there's about 67 books on here. This is absolutely ridiculous. I've got no clue where these are going to go because my shelves are jam-packed, but it is what it is. So you just saw the thumbnail, I assume, in which I did a haul as tall as me. That's what this is. Jade said, I wonder if that haul's as tall as you. So naturally I went to check. It is. I think I've probably left a little bit in the beginning. So without further ado, let's get into it, because otherwise we're going to be here for a while. I'm not going to go into depth of what these books are about. If I have a general gist or know the general genre with the tropes, I will tell you, but otherwise I'm just holding the book up, telling you where it's come from, and that's it. Because we'll be here forever and I have not the brain cells to do that today. So first off, we're going to start off with a stack of books that have been gifted to me, whether that be from patrons, subscribers, friends, or publishers. So the first one that I have is an ARC, and this is Bad Things Happen Here by Rebecca Barrow. Thank you to Hotkey Books for sending me this one. It is unsolicited, I didn't request this one, but I believe that this is a thriller and it's set on the island of Paradise or Poison. It's a must-read summer thriller apparently that is coming out on the 28th of June. So I am thinking about taking this one on holiday with me. It came with a little postcard as well, and reading it on hauls because I feel like that's a good idea. So thank you to Hotkeys. That made sense. Thank you to Hotkeys for this one. Then from Hodder and Starton I got Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan. This I am reading to review when I come back off my holidays in the middle of June. I believe that this is a contemporary romance, adult one, and it's following Nora, whose life is about to get a rewrite. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's to do with like the movies and stuff, and I'm really hyped for it. Sounds fantastic. Then from Mel, I was gifted The No Show by Beth O'Leary. I have enjoyed Beth O'Leary's previous books, The Flatshare, and also the other one whose name I can't remember. I haven't read The Road Trip yet. I do have it though, but this is her latest one. 3 women, 3 dates, 1 missing man. I don't know what happens here, but it's Beth O'Leary. The Switch is the other one that I've read, and I've enjoyed 2 of her 4 books so far, so I've got high hopes. Fingers crossed. Thank you, Mel, for gifting me this one. I really do appreciate it. Then from Tracy, I do have volume 4 of Ascender. I am collecting these volumes. I've read volume 1 and 2, I think. I don't know if I've read volume 3 yet, but I do enjoy this series. This is a spin-off series from Descender, which is a sci-fi graphic novel series, and it's really good, and I would highly recommend it. Do read Descender before you pick these ones up though, because the main backstory will not be there and you won't understand what's going on. Then from SG, I do have Well Played by Jen DeLuca, which is the second book in the Well Met series. I haven't yet finished Well Met, but I am enjoying it. My slump hit me really hard and I just ended up putting it down. But these tend to be the types of books that are to do with like Renaissance fairs and stuff, and I have put reading these off for a while because of the Renaissance fair thing, but to be perfectly honest, that doesn't play into it too heavily like I thought it was going to, and it's really good. I'm really enjoying it so far. So the first book follows Simon and Emily, whereas this next one follows Stacey, who's one of the women who's in the first book. A laugh out loud romantic comedy featuring kilted musicians, Renaissance fair tavern wenches, and an unlikely love story. I'm here for it. So I got the second one from SG. Thank you so much. Then, if any of you noticed from the video in which my friends unhauled my books, I will leave a link to it up here. Gav did put on my unhaul the Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, which A, I haven't read yet, and B, is, you know, final book support group, final girl support group. So I was pretty bummed about that. However, later on, Gav did mention that he does have the red sprayed edged signed Waterstones edition, which I don't have. So he said that if I unhaul my edition, he will send me this one. So thank you, Gavlar, for sending me this one. I really do appreciate it, you angel. He also chucked me like a bookmark in for The Thief Who Sang Storms and a postcard. Little sweetheart. But yeah, this one is signed and I am looking forward to reading it. I'm assuming it's to do with final girls from movies and a support group, and then I'm going to assume that it turns out to be pretty sinister. So yeah, I am looking forward to this one. Thank you so much, Gavin, for sending me this edition. I really appreciate it. And then the last gifted book that I have is also from SG, and this one is Bravely by Maggie Stiefvater. I believe that this is a retelling from the movie, which I don't know anything about. It says on the back, 1 princess, 2 gods, 3 voyages, 4 seasons. I haven't watched Brave, so I want to watch that. I don't know whether to watch it before or after reading this, but this book is incredibly heavy, and I'm very, very excited about reading it. This cover is stunning, so thank you, SG, for sending me this one. Really appreciate it. So then let's get into the disaster that is my haul, and then I have subscription box books and an OwlCrate Junior box to open up at the end. So the first one that I have is Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I did see this on TikTok. I also saw it on Instagram. I've seen a lot of people going on about how good this is, so I did order it. Christina Lauren have said that it is smart, sexy and downright hilarious, and absolutely pitch perfect romantic comedy, which I am here for, so I'm going to assume that this is adult romance. I don't know anything else about it. Bad luck as always followed Olivia Marshall, but when a "what are you wearing" text from a random number turns into the hottest, most entertaining relationship of her life, she thinks she might be looking up. Outstanding. Yes, already here for it. Excited. Then I have Near the Bone by Christina Henry. I have enjoyed some of Christina Henry's books before. The Girl in Red, I enjoyed that one. I think I've read 1 or 2 of her others. I have Lost Boy, and I've read The Girl in Red. Oh, that's all I've read. Lol. But I have gotten this one, and then Cassidy messaged me to let me know that there is a stalking trope in here, so I'm going to be careful with it, but I want to get into a bit more horror, so that's why I got it. Intriguing. Terrifying, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. Then I did get another copy of Gallant, every time it's because I look at V and then Gallant by V. Schwab. The reason why I got this copy is because I wasn't particularly overwhelmed by the OwlCrate edition, and I was really gutted that I didn't have the Waterstones edition, so I did have a quick butcher's on eBay and managed to get the Waterstones edition, so this is the signed one. So now I have 3 copies. Don't come for me. You're not allowed. Then I got Witches of Brooklyn by Sophie Escabas. This was suggested to me by, I think, Tracy, maybe. And it's a graphic novel that I'm going to assume has witches in Brooklyn, following Effie, whose aunts are a little weird, like really weird, really, really, really weird. Does that mean they could be magic? Does that mean she could be magic? Life is about to get much more interesting. Fascinating. Here for graphic novel recommendations, if anybody has any. Then I did get Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and also this edition of People We Meet on Vacation, or You and Me on Vacation, depending on whether or not you're in the UK or the US. I got these copies because I do have the American version of Beach Read, because I prefer that cover to the original. Somewhere in here I do have the UK edition of this, because I had it pre-ordered. Where is it? I think it's down at the bottom. But I did have the UK edition pre-ordered, and then OwlCrate said that they were going to do hardback UK editions, and I kind of want the hardback UK editions but the American paperback editions, so I went ahead and bought the American paperback editions, and I'm going to get the UK hardback editions and get rid of my UK paperbacks of Book Lovers and You and Me on Vacation. It makes sense in my head. Listen, all I'm going to say is that reading books and collecting them are two entirely different hobbies. That's it. I can read the paperbacks and have the pretty hardback editions on my shelves. That's all I'm saying. Anywho, I've read both of these books. I gave them both 5 stars. Book Lovers is now my favourite book of the year. I got Check Please Volume 1 and also Volume 2. I have read Volume 1. I gave it 4 stars. This is a queer ice hockey romance graphic novel in which Eric loves to bake pies and play hockey and is in love with his best friend. And it's cute, and I'm intrigued to go into Check Please Volume 2, which I'm hoping to read in June for whatever-thon. Then I did get Flock by Kate Stewart. I am intrigued by this. I have seen it about a lot. It's doing the rounds again since TikTok got its hands on it. So I am intrigued by this one. I've heard great things, and I believe that this is like an adult romance, possibly problematic. I think it's dark romance, so I am intrigued by this one. And then I also got Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I will be reading this in June. This is one of my buddy read picks for Patreon. This is a dark Peter Pan retelling romance, and I'm here for it. I'm excited. Then I got Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This was a pre-order and I'm really looking forward to it. It is a romance. I don't know anything about it other than that, but I have loved Abby Jimenez's previous series, which started with The Friend Zone and then went on to the Happy Ever After playlist and Life's Too Short. Please read those books in that order. Don't read them out of order. You will spoil yourself for the second book if you read that out of order. That's what I did, and I want to punch myself in the face repeatedly every single day ever since I did it. Don't do it. But this one I'm really excited about, so can't wait to pick that one up. Then I have Seon's Tea Party by Ramina Yi. This is a graphic novel which is absolutely adorable, following a young girl who is scared to grow up. She ends up coming across a ghost in her house, and the ghost ends up trying to help her try and just grow up a little bit more, be with her friends a little bit more rather than isolated and on her own a lot. And it's a very beautiful story. I did read this one this month, but in the month of May, and it's beautiful. Absolutely love it. No regrets whatsoever. Then I did get Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. I just got really excited by the premise of this book, in which I now cannot remember it, but it's from the author of The Worst Best Man. It's a hilarious rom-com about 2 strangers who get trapped in a lie and have to fake date their way out of it. I love fake dating. I love books surrounding weddings, but I haven't read The Worst Best Man, so I feel like maybe I should do that first. I don't want to make these mistakes anymore like I did with Abby Jimenez, in which it turns out these are companion novels and you end up spoiling yourself for other relationships if you dive in somewhere in the middle. So I do think I want to read The Worst Best Man first before picking this one up. I don't own The Worst Best Man, so that's a great start, but it is what it is. So then I got The Doors to Nowhere by Chris Grine. This is the second book in the Secrets of Camp Whatever, which I read, was it for Believeathon last year, I think maybe, and I really enjoyed it. I got it on a whim. It was a total whim, but I really enjoyed it, and then I immediately pre-ordered volume 2. So I'm very excited to read this one. It is a middle grade graphic novel about this boy who goes to camp, but it's not all as it seems. It is fantasy. There are magical elements in here, magical creatures. It's very good. I had a great time with it. If you like Lumberjanes, you will enjoy this series, I think. Then we have Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. Don't. I have no excuses. I was on Forbidden Planet, it was on there. I was like, ooh, I really like this cover. If I'm ever going to read it, I'm going to want that cover. You know what it is? Because I now run a very smutty book club, I know at some point people are going to ask for weird books. Can we do a weird book month? This is a weird book. This is a adult romance book about aliens. Ice Planet Barbarians. I don't know what else to say. Fallen in love with the this world romance between Georgia Caruthers, a human woman, and Vectel, an alien from another planet, in this expanded edition with bonus material and exclusive epilogue in print only. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I haven't read it yet, so that's a bonus for me, I suppose. But I've got it so that now I can, when I inevitably get asked for the Literature Book Club, if we can do some really weird, smutty books. I did get Starry-Eyed Love by Helena Hunting. I really enjoy Helena Hunting's books. Meet Cute was my first one from Helena Hunting, and since then I have really enjoyed the A Lie for a Lie series, so I really wanted to get her latest one. I don't know anything about it, but on the back it says charming, hilarious and emotional. Starry-Eyed Love is Helena Hunting at her very best. So I am here for that. Sounds great, very floppy, very excited. Then I did get my pre-order of Skyward Flight, the collection by Brandon Sanderson and Jancy Patterson. I ended up with the American edition of this. I don't know, well, I do know how this happened. At the time when I pre-ordered it, there wasn't a UK edition, so I've ended up with the American edition, which I'm not mad about because the Americans know how to make a flat hardback. So I am excited about this. This is a collection of 3 short stories from the Skyward Flight series. I believe that you're meant to read these in between books 2 and 3. I don't know what happened here, I got distracted by Jade. Books 2 and 3. But yeah, this is the US edition, which means that now I have my Cytonic US edition is right behind me waiting to be unhauled. I don't know what to do, whether to try and get the US editions of Skyward and Starsight, or whether to unhaul this and get the UK version of it. But I prefer the US covers, so I don't know what to do with those. Then I did manage to get my hands on 3 copies of Book of the Month books. So I did get The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This is a thriller, I believe, about a couple who are having problems. She was cheating and they end up going to a therapist. However, the therapist has had their license revoked for some dodgy goings on, and all is not as it seems. Secrets start to come out. I don't know where this goes or anything, but I know that I've just watched Becca's recent vlog for Bookoplathon. She read it during that, she gave it 3 stars. So I'm intrigued to see what happens. One of the things that I love about thrillers is that I don't see things coming very easily. So I'm usually more often than not surprised by a thriller, whereas some people will be like, I totally fucking predicted that from page 1. Whereas I'm like, totally did not see that coming at all. So yeah, I managed to get the Book of the Month edition of this one. I really wish Book of the Month would post to the UK so that I could actually get these books you know, first hand rather than second, but whatever. I then also got Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly, which I am really excited about. Jade actually read this one and fucking loved it, despite the fact that she doesn't read romance. I believe there is bacon in here, so I'm really looking forward to it. It is a romance. There's nothing like a little competition to heat things up, so I think there's going to be like a cooking competition in here, which I am here for. And then I also got Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black, which is a book that I've had my eye on for a while now, and this is basically about a black father who's making amends with his gay son through letters written on his deathbed in this wise and penetrating novel of empathy and forgiveness. I am keen on this one. The premise of it reminds me a little bit of Razorblade Tears, slightly different, but the storylines are a little bit similar as well, following fathers of like queer kids and trying to make amends for treating them badly because of them being gay. So I am intrigued by that one. Then I also got The Sweetest Oblivion by Daniel Laurie, which was supposed to be the July lit book of the month, but we ended up swapping it up because I believe that the author has previously been relatively problematic, so we ended up swapping this one out. I will probably still read this one because I am intrigued by the book. I've heard great things, but I didn't want to not force, because nobody's forced to ever read one of the book club picks, but I didn't want to be discussing it basically on a book club thing. So then we swapped it out for There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark, and then Cass immediately messaged me saying huge trigger warnings for stalking in this one. If you didn't know, stalking is a massive trigger for me, so I am still going to give it a try, but again, didn't want to risk that I would have to miss the live show for this one, so we ended up swapping it all out for the Mindfuck series. If you're intrigued to know what the July book is, it's the Mindfuck series, the whole series. We're reading the lot, but I don't own it, so I'm going to read them on my Kindle, because that's what I should be doing instead of keep buying them like this, because they're all on Kindle Unlimited. There's no need for me to be purchasing them like that. Anywho, we have The Club by Ellery Lloyd. I am part of the Facebook group for Lindsay Kelk's book club, and this was the book pick for April, one of the 3 books that I then went and purchased them all. So that's why this is on here. This is a thriller, I believe, in which everyone's dying to join this club. I don't know anything about it other than that. I am easily influenced, just don't. I have Hummingbird Salamander by Jeff Vandermeer. We are reading this for the JPEG's book club. I think this is going to be the November-December book, I think, for JPEG's book club. If you don't know what JPEG's book club is, it is a book club run by myself, Jade, Gav and Pris, for our patrons only. So this is one of the picks. This was Jade's pick because she loves Jeff Vandermeer, and I'm really excited about it. I don't know a great deal about this one, but it's something to do with a salamander or a hummingbird. Security consultant and former wrestler Jane Smith receives an envelope with a key to a storage unit that holds a taxidermied hummingbird and clues leading her to a taxidermied salamander. Sylvina, the dead woman who left the note, was a reputed eco-terrorist and the daughter of an Argentinian industrialist. By taking the hummingbird from the storage unit, Jane sets in motion a series of events that quickly spins beyond her control. Intriguing. I'm excited to read that one towards the end of the year. Then we have On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden. This is a rather large graphic novel that I'm really intrigued about. I think that this is set in space. I don't know if it's queer or not, I can't remember, but I've heard incredible things about Tilly Walden's graphic novels, so I'm really intrigued by this one. Then we have Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. I saw this in Waterstones when I nipped in a few weeks ago and decided that I wanted to pick it up because it sounds very similar to Stalking Jack the Ripper. We're following a woman called Hazel Sinnott, who's a lady who wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to marry. And we're following Jack Curra, who is a resurrection man who's just trying to survive in a city where it's too easy to die. We're in Edinburgh, 1817. And these two people end up helping each other out. It does have very similar vibes to Stalking Jack the Ripper, so I am here for it. Then we have Death Note Volume 1. This is a manga in which I know nothing about, but it is one of Spoops' favourite books and it's on her list for whatever-thon. However, there is like a thing in here that absolutely terrifies the shit out of me to look at. I don't like clowns, so this terrifies me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this book. We will see. Then I have The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This is the illustrated edition. I already have a copy of this, which I will now unhaul and keep the illustrated edition. But I saw this in, again, Waterstones when I picked up Anatomy, and I just really fancied the illustrated edition. It's very pretty. Don't know anything about it. Haven't read it yet. Then I have Hopeless, Losing Hope, and also Finding Cinderella, which I believe is a novella for this series, maybe, or is it for maybe Sunday? Someday, not Sunday. Yeah, I think it's part of this series. I'm going to assume it is anyway. It looks very similar. I already have Hopeless in the UK black cover edition, but I don't like it, so I wanted to get the American edition, so that's what I did. These are by Colleen Hoover. I don't know anything about them, but she's an auto-buy author, so I had to get them. I'm slowly but surely collecting all of her books, so that's what happened. Then I got Fire Song by Vashti Hardy, which is the third and final book in the Brightstorm series. I really enjoyed Brightstorm, following two kids whose father basically goes missing and they want to find out what happened to him. He was on an adventure, but they don't believe what happened to him actually happened to him, and they want to find out what happens next. So that's what happened in the first book. I can't remember if I've read Dark Whispers or not, so I need to read it. But now that I have Firestorm, I think I might just binge the series and reread Brightstorm. And yeah, very excited for this one. The cover's gorgeous as well. Then I have Set on You by Amy Leah. Again, another one that I've seen both on TikTok and Instagram equally, but I do hate when they put TikTok sensation. Just no need. But this is going to be a sexy adult romance, I believe, featuring a plus size woman, and it's got like a gym setting or something. So feel like this could be an interesting one. Then we have Only on the Weekends by Dean Atta. I loved Black Flamingo, so this was a pre-order for me, and it is told in verse. I don't know anything about it. It was an automatic pre-order once I realised that it was going to be told in verse, and it was by Dean Atta. Following 15-year-old Mac, who is a hopeless romantic. He's had a crush on Karim for what feels like forever, so he can't believe it when the gorgeous, popular Karim seems into him too. But when Mac's dad gets a film directing job in Scotland, Mac moves with him and soon discovers how painful long distance is. Love shouldn't only be on the weekends. It's made worse by the fact that Karim can be so hard to read. Then Mac meets an actor, Finlay, on set and experiences something electric. Mac never thought he would find love, but now two boys want him. How long until his old and new life collide? Interesting. I am here for it. Then I did a bit of an order with Orbit Books because they had a half price sale on. So I did get Legacy of Steel and Legacy of Light. I was trying to read that via the camera then and I just couldn't see it in reverse. Which is book 2 and 3 in the Legacy of Ash series. Andy did get me Legacy of Ash for Christmas, but I haven't read it yet because I've been in a fantasy slump ever since. So naturally I bought book 2 and 3. Just don't. They were half price. Oh, who am I going to argue with? Then I got Feed by Myra Grant, who I believe is Shauna Maguire. But this is supposed to be like a apocalyptic story, I believe. Alive or dead, the truth won't rest. My name is Georgia Mason and I'm begging you to rise up while you can. I'm interested. It's a series. And then I also got Wolf in Shadow by David Gemmell. I'm always down for like shorter high fantasy books, like political high fantasy books. This is under 350 pages. It's 300 years since the world toppled on its axis and civilization was destroyed. This sounds really good, so I'm intrigued. It's at the start of a very long series by the looks of things, but I'm not mad about it because I believe that the series is pretty much out now. I would assume. Oh no, it's the start of a trilogy. Wolf in Shadow, The Last Guardian and Bloodstone. And I believe the whole trilogy is out. So I'm not mad about that. 1987? Wow. Interesting. That will be a ride. Then I got a second copy of The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. Sorry, Rachel Griffin. I'm not excusing that. I wrote all over my first copy. I would like to have a clean copy for my reread so that I'm not influenced by my notes. That's it. That's all I've got for you. Lucky Leap Day by Anne Marie Walker. I haven't read this Happy Singles Day by Anne Marie Walker, but I was really intrigued by this one. Basically, once every like 4 years, I think it is, there is a tradition in which... Yeah, because on a leap day, there is a tradition in Ireland in which a woman can propose to a man. So it's to do with that, I believe. If you've ever watched a movie, Leap Year or something, whatever the hell it's called, with Amy Adams, that's the vibes I'm getting from it. So I wanted to get that one. Then I have book 2, Lightfall, Shadow of the Bird. I read the first one with Jade literally on a live show. We read it together. It was fantastic and I really enjoyed it. So I pre-ordered the second one and it has come. We haven't read it yet, but we do plan on buddy reading it together. Then I got City of Dragons, The Awakening Storm by Jamal Yogis and Vivian Truong. My apologies. I am going to assume that this has got dragons in it. The dragons have awakened. It's a graphic novel set in Hong Kong. Intriguing. I am here for it. Oh, there's the UK edition of Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I got Kaiju number 8, which is a manga, I believe, featuring kaiju. I don't know anything about it other than that, but I really love the movie Pacific Rim and I'm like intrigued by the kaiju. So I did a bit of research on manga because I want to get into manga a bit more, and this one came up. It sounds interesting. It was part of my Forbidden Planet haul, so I got it. And then I also, from From Forbidden Planet Struggles. Got Finding Baba Yaga, a short novel in verse by Jane Yolen. I'm always intrigued by Baba Yaga, so I wanted to get this one. It is a short novel in verse about Baba Yaga, so I got it. Then we have this little stack that I literally got the other day from Waterstones. The first one on here is Hope by Tom Parker. Tom Parker was a member of The Wanted, and he recently passed with a brain tumour, and this is his autobiography, so I'm really excited about reading that one. And then these 5 will be featured, have probably already been featured in a video. I will leave a link to it up here if I remember to do so, which was a scavenger hunt in which I had 5 friends give me 5 prompts, and I bought the books to fit the prompts. So the first one is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. This was for Maddie's prompt, and this is a YA queer novel basically about Shara Wheeler kissing Chloe. However, it turns out, and then she disappears, and then it turns out that she's not only been kissing Chloe, but she's been kissing Smith and this other person, and then they all band together to try and find out what the fuck's going on because they're not happy. Then I got Girl 11 by Amy Suter Clark. I got this one for Beth's prompt, and this is a thriller featuring a podcast. Basically 20 years ago, the Countdown Killer went on a deadly spree. Each victim was a year younger than the last. True crime podcaster El Castillo has long been hellbent on finding him and serving historic justice. Now he's back. El must stop the countdown before the killer claims his next victim. It sounds intriguing. I love a thriller with a podcast element. Let me know if you've got any recommendations. I've already read Sadie, The Night Swim, and also The Girls Are Never Gone. So those are the ones that I've already read. If you have any other recommendations, let me know because I'm always here for them. Then I got The Lost Apothecary by, every single time I look at this book I struggle to see the author's name, Sarah Penner. I picked this one up off of Rise prompt, and this one is set in 2 different timelines, current day and back in the past. Basically, in the depths of hidden 18th century London, there's a secret apothecary shop in which a woman used to supply poisons, well disguised poisons, to use against the oppressive men in their lives, but the apothecary's fate is jeopardized when her newest patron, a precocious 12-year-old, makes fatal mistakes, sparking a string of consequences that echo through the centuries. Meanwhile, in present-day London, aspiring historian Caroline spends her 10th wedding anniversary alone, running from her own demons, but she stumbles upon a clue regarding the apothecary, and then she ends up doing loads of research, and I don't know what happens next. Then I got Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper, and I picked this one up for Cassidy's prompt. This one is a small town, 2 witches plot revenge but end up falling in love in this magical romantic comedy. It's queer. And then I got Ramazia Ever After by Radia Hafiza, which is the second in the Ramazia a fairy tale book. This was for Jade's prompt. I did read Ramazia, picked it up, the first one based off of Jade, so it makes sense for me to pick this one up. And this is fairy tales retold, essentially retellings. And then we get into the subscription box books, which are all very pretty indeed. We have The City of Dusk by Tara Sim. I have a runaway book. I don't know what this is about at all. The 4 realms, life, death, light and darkness, all converge on the City of Dusk, ruled by the 4 noble houses of Nexus. But the gods have withdrawn their favour from the once vibrant and thriving city, and without it, all the realms are dying. Unwilling to stand by and watch the destruction, the 4 heirs, Risha, a necromancer struggling to keep the peace, Angelica, an elementalist with her eyes set on the throne, Tasia, a shadow-wielding rogue with rebellion in her heart, and Nick, a soldier who struggles to see the light, will sacrifice everything to save the city, but their defiance will cost them dearly. The City of Dusk is the first in a sweeping epic fantasy trilogy, set in the gorgeous world of dark magic, vengeful gods and rebellious chosen ones. Interesting. Very pretty underneath the dust jacket. So this was from Fairy Loot. Then we have Book of Night by Holly Black, also from Fairy Loot. I am intrigued by this one, but I haven't heard good things at all. The end papers look like this. Underneath the dust jacket looks like this. This is Charlie Hall has never found a lock she couldn't pick, a book she couldn't steal, or a bad decision she wouldn't make. She spent half her life working for the Glomists magicians who manipulates shadows to peer into locked rooms, strangle people in their beds or worse. Gloamists guard their secrets greedily, creating an underground economy of grimoires, and to rob their fellow magicians they need Charlie. Now she's trying to distance herself from past mistakes, but bartending at a local dive, she's still entirely too close to corrupt underbelly of Berkshire's. Not to mention that her sister, Posy, is desperate for magic, and that Charlie's shadowless and possibly soulless boyfriend, Vince, has been hiding things from her. When a terrible figure from her past returns, Charlie descends into a maelstrom of murder and lies. Determined to survive, she's up against a cast of doppelgangers, mercurial billionaires, gloamists, and the people she loves best in the world, all trying to steal a secret that will give them a vast and terrible power. Intriguing. Not heard good things. Then from OwlCrate for the Afterlight box, we have You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Kweke Meze. I have read 1 or 2 books by Kweke Meze. I read Pet, which I really enjoyed. I do have Bitter, which I need to get to. I think I've read something else, but I can't remember. But this one says, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. Faye is about to be given the chance to escape the city's blistering heat for a dream island holiday, poolside cocktails, beach sunsets and elaborate meals. And as the sun goes down on her old life, our heroine might just be ready to open her heart to someone new. The only problem is she's fallen for the one man she absolutely cannot have. Interesting. It's very pretty sprayed edges. Very interesting indeed. I didn't have my eye on this specifically, but I did accidentally pick it up yesterday in not yesterday, the day before, in Waterstones, so I must have just kind of had my eye on it maybe. Then from Tales by Mayol, I do have the 2 books. The Boy in the Post by Holly Rivers. Children wanted for paid summer holiday work. Applicants must be happy working with animals, know how to address an envelope and not take up too much space. Full training will be provided, but basic knowledge of tea making and egg boiling is desirable. Hard workers only. Malingerers, shirkers, crybabies and lazybones need not apply. Intriguing. And then we also have AJ and the Mumbai Sun by Varsha Shah. This cover is beautiful. Abandoned on the Mumbai railways, AJ has grown up with nothing but burning wish to be a journalist. Finding a discarded printing press, he and his friends Saif, Vinod, Yasmin and Jai create their own newspaper, the Mumbai Sun. As they hunt down stories for their paper, the children uncover corruption, fight for justice and battle to save their slums from the bulldozers. But against some of the most powerful forces in the city, can AJ and his friends really succeed in bringing the truth to light? Not to mention win the most important cricket match ever. Sounds really, really good, so I'm intrigued by that one. Then we have 2 books from the YA Fairy Loot box. We have the main book, which was Blood Scion by Deborah Farley. This cover is absolutely stunning with the blue sprayed edges, and underneath the dust jacket it is the same, as well as some art underneath here as well. This one says, I am the descendant of Shango, the god of heart and fire. I am living inferno. I am a dead girl walking. 15-year-old Sloane can incinerate an enemy at will. She is a scion, a descendant of the ancient Orisha gods. But under the brutal rule of Lucius, her identity means her death. Her mother knows as much. She's disappeared trying to hide Sloane's truth. Sloane too has hidden her abilities, but on her 15th birthday she's conscripted into the Lucius army. Once taken, Sloane must not only conceal her power but overcome the bloody challenges of Lucius training. But if she can infiltrate the Lucius, she could destroy her enemies, the people who think of her as less than human, the overlords responsible for her mother's disappearance. Sloane rises through the ranks and gains strength, but in doing so risks something greater, losing herself entirely and becoming the very monster she abhors. It does sound kind of interesting, but it hasn't been on my radar at all, so we'll see whether or not I get to it. And then we also got An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X. Pan. This luminous love story cuts bone deep. Hunter Yi has perfect aim with a bow and arrow, but all else in his life veers off course. Haunted by his family past, mistakes, the only thing keeping him from running away are his younger brother, a supernatural wind, and a bewitching girl at his new school. Luna Chang dreads the future. Graduation looms ahead and her parents' expectations are stifling. Then her life is turned upside down by a strange new boy in her class, the unearthly fireflies that follow her around, and an ominous crack that begins to spread across the town of Fairbridge. As Hunter and Luna navigate the feud between their families and uncover hidden secrets, everything around them begins to fall apart. All they can depend on is their love, but time is running out and fate will have its way. It does sound intriguing. A spellbinding reinterpretation of Romeo and Juliet filled with romance, magic and Chinese mythology. Nice. And then we have The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I have not read this one. Obviously, it's from Fairaloo. It's very, very pretty. Welcome to the Alexandrian Society, where the world's best magicians are offered an extraordinary opportunity. Saying yes is easy. Each could join the secretive Alexandrian Society, whose custodians guard lost knowledge from ancient civilization. Their members enjoy a lifetime power and prestige, yet each decade only 6 practitioners are invited to fill 5 places. Contenders Libby Rhodes and Nico De Varona are inseparable enemies. Cosmetologists who can control matter with their minds. Parissa Camila is a telepath who sees the mind's deepest secrets. Raina Mori is a naturalist who can perceive and understand the flow of life itself, and Callum Nova is an empath who can manipulate the desires of others. Finally, there's Tristan Kane, whose powers mystify even himself. Following recruitment by the mysterious Atlas Blakely, they travel to the Society's London headquarters. Here, each must study and innovate within esoteric subjects areas, and if they can prove themselves over the course of a year, they'll survive. Most of them. Sounds very intriguing. It's I've heard mixed things, I'm not gonna lie, I have heard the mixed things, but I am still keen to pick this one up. And then last but by no means least, we have the OwlCrate Junior box. So I'm gonna open this one up because I have not done so yet, and the May theme is School of Wonders. So let's find out what's inside. We have, oh wait, is this one of these pop-up pencil cases? Fascinating. I've always wanted one of these. Amazing, how adorable is that? And then you just pop it back down again. Cute. I love it. Then we have a little book that says The Book of Ghostly Hours. Learn the wondrous arts of the accomplished wondersmith. Oh, it's a reading kit. You can make notes. It's got tabs. Cute. And it's obviously inspired by Hollowpox. Then we have Earthsea, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin. Is this like the first in the Earthsea series? I think it is, which they were doing for, was it Backlist Book Club, and then just stopped because they weren't interested in it anymore. I can't remember. But visit the original wizard school on the island of Rook in the 1968 classic A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin, published by HarperCollins. Nice. Then we have a pencil that says Science Action Club on it. Cute. I don't know what this is in reference to. Memory Spell Mood Pencil inspired by the Worst Witch. Fair enough. Then we have this. Are you an ever or a never? Display your fairy tale school pride and protect your hardcover with this School for Good and Evil inspired fabric book cover. Ooh, I haven't read the School for Good and Evil, but I've heard good things. Nice, had one of these before. It's cute, you pop your book in there. I think it's for like the size. I think it's for like the US middle grade hardbacks only, or like even a paperback, but I don't think it fits like a UK hardback in. And then before we get to the book, next month's theme is going to be Campfire Stories. If you are already signed up, don't panic, you will just automatically get your box. But let's get to the book. We have The Marvellers by Danielle Clayton. This cover's beautiful. I have not heard of this before, but I am a little bit excited. So we have a card, which we get every time we get one of these boxes. This has got Ella Durand on it, who I assume might be a character within this book. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. The colours on it are stunning. Oh, pretty. Look at the end papers. Very nice. What is this about? 11-year-old Ella Durand, hello Ella, is the first conjurer to attend the Arcanum Training Institute, a magic school in the clouds where marvellers from around the world practice their cultural arts, like brewing Indian spice elixirs and bartering with pesky Irish pixies. Oh my god, I love it already. Despite her excitement, Ella discovers that being the first isn't easy. Some marvellers mistrust her magic, which they deem bad and unnatural, but eventually she finds friends in the elixir's teacher, Masterji Thacker, and fellow misfit Bright, a girl who hates magic, and Jason, a boy with a fondness for magical creatures. When a dangerous criminal known as the Ace of Anarchy escapes prison, supposedly with a conjurer's aid, tensions grow in the Marvellian world, and Ella becomes the target of suspicion. Worse, Masterji Thacker mysteriously disappears while away on a research trip. With the help of her friends and her own growing powers, Ella must find a way to clear her family's name and track down her mentor before it's too late. Interesting. Ooh, is there illustrations? Pretty. I am intrigued. There is an author's note from Danielle. It is signed. Nice. Nice. I like it a lot. Okay, cool. That's all of the books. I'm knackered now. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know your thoughts on them. Chat to me in the comments down below. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I've no doubt it's going to be incredibly long. I do apologise. But apparently I have a problem. My biggest problem now is getting all of these on the friggin' shelves. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.